If your job is stressful on top of that, the stress also takes energy. And all of that energy that's needed for healing is being allocated to other things. So it will impact the timeline of your recovery, and you might feel more fatigued than you feel like you, quote unquote, should be feeling.
Welcome to the Injured Athletes Club podcast, the show that helps athletes cope with sports injuries and bounce back stronger. I'm journalist Cindy Kuzma.
And I am mental skills coach Carrie Jackson. We're sorry you're here, but we're glad you're with us.
This week, Coach Carrie is going to use her expertise in mental performance and injury recovery to answer a question from one of you, our listeners.
But before we get started, we want to give a big thank you to our sponsor. This season of the Injured Athletes Club is brought to you by Lever Movement. The Lever system is an innovative way to reduce your body weight and the impact on your joints while exercising on a treadmill.
It's perfect for returning to running after an injury or break, or for adding volume or speed without increasing your risk of getting hurt. Also, it's portable, and you can set it up in less than 2 minutes. Use code TIAC20 to get 20% off your purchase. Check out Lever today and take your training to the next level. We've often called the Injured Athletes Club the best club you never want to join. Well, did you know that you can now pick up shirts, hats, journals, stickers, and more to show your solidarity and empower yourself on your recovery journey? That's right, we have merchandise. Some of it features our fantastic updated Injured Athletes Club logo, designed and then redesigned by the talented Emma Coomer. And then there are plenty of products with Coach Carrie-isms on them too, sayings like,
stronger every day, obstacles to opportunities, and the all-time favorite, recovery is now my sport. You can head to injuredathletesclub.com/shop to browse everything that's available. Pick up something for yourself as a special treat, or you can buy your favorite injured athlete a gift. We also sell gift cards. And when you purchase, you're supporting this show and all our work for injured athletes. Don't forget, injuredathletesclub.com/shop and pick up your Injured Athletes Club merch today.
Let's get on to this week's question, which comes from an athlete named Laura. Laura says, my injuries led to major surgery, a hip replacement, and I have really struggled with being on my feet all day, fatigue, and not feeling even close to 80% at work. I just learned I will have 2 unrelated surgeries, and the thought of healing all over again in my stressful and physically demanding job has caused me to 100% regret coming back early from hip surgery. It seems hard to believe that being on my feet all day is harder than advanced physical therapy. Have you heard of athletes with this experience? Coach Carrie, I know you've heard from a lot of athletes about a lot of different experiences, so I wonder what you have to share with Laura today.
Yes. Thank you, Laura, for your question. And I have heard of this. Actually, I have worked with clients that are like healthcare providers, teachers, lawyers, people who are either on their feet for work or they're working for very long periods of time in intense environments as they're recovering from their injuries. And many injured athletes don't realize the impact of their daily work life on their recovery. So when you go through surgery, even though surgery is in service of healing your injury, surgery is a trauma to the body. And on top, and it's a trauma to the body on top of your original trauma, which is the injury. So healing from these traumas, when you think of them that way, it takes physical and mental energy. So your body is working hard to heal, and some of that energy that would be going toward healing is going to the physical demands of your job instead, especially if you're like, let's say you have a lower body injury and you're on your feet a lot, or you have a back injury and you have to sit a lot. But even if let's say you have an upper body injury and you're on your feet a lot, it's still taking energy that would be going towards healing, but it's diverted to the other demands that are placed on you. So if your job is stressful on top of that, the stress also takes energy, and all of that energy that's needed for healing is being allocated to other things. So it will impact the timeline of your recovery, and you might feel more fatigued than you feel like you, quote unquote, should be feeling. I think it gets confusing because when you are an athlete, the categories you would usually define as a significant physical activity are different than how they are defined while recovering from surgery and healing from an injury. So before getting injured, you may not have thought of standing on your feet all day as a workout, but when your body is still healing, standing on your feet all day is a workout. And that's something that you need to take into consideration as part of your daily output, your energy output, and the healing process. So one thing I would absolutely encourage you to do is to take as much time off as your company will allow. Even if you think you need less, take as much time off as your company will allow after these 2 other upcoming surgeries. So you might be able to get your surgeon to make a recommendation of time off as well, if that's needed for your work to approve your time off. But I will say, I've seen some of my clients really struggle with this, like really struggle with feeling guilty for taking time off, and will push themselves to get back to work as soon as possible, even when they have paid time off, because they're feeling guilty for the increased workload that their absence may be putting on their coworkers. So it's okay to take the time you need to heal and not rush back the second that you are semi-mobile. It's really okay to do that. It is okay to take care of yourself. I'm going to say that again because I know there is someone listening that really needs to hear this. It is okay to take care of yourself. It is okay to take the time you need to heal and recover. Chances are you would do the same thing for your coworkers if they needed it. And if someone tries to make you feel guilty for that, it does not mean that you have to feel guilty for that, right? That has everything to do with them and has nothing to do with you. And if you work for yourself or the PTO you have isn't the optimal amount of time you need, and the reality is you have to get back to work, just recognize that you're expending energy while working, and you need to take that into consideration while you make decisions about the timing maybe of your PT and your rest, and make those decisions accordingly. So it is something that happens. And I know it can be really confusing because you're like, what the heck, man? I shouldn't be this tired, right? I think that's the thought process that goes like, I shouldn't be this tired. I'm only, doing work, or why is my recovery taking longer than I thought? And that's one thing I'll say too, is like everyone's trajectory is different sometimes too. So sometimes what we're talking about is just a mismatch in the expectation of the timeline, which is really challenging. But sometimes it is just this like fatigue factor and going, oh my gosh, and the reality is you might heal a little bit slower, right? If you're needing that energy to be allocated in other areas. But definitely take as much time as you can for these next 2 upcoming surgeries. And we will absolutely be thinking about you as you recover from those.
Oh, absolutely. I know I'm going to be playing that on repeat. You deserve to take care of yourself. And I hope Laura and all the other injured athletes out there do too. And something that occurs to me too, Coach Carrie, I wonder if you'd agree with this, is like maybe Laura and anyone else in this situation could talk to their healthcare team and just make sure to mention, hey, this is my job. Is there anything you can, you mentioned getting the note for time off, but maybe they can also make recommendations about how to adjust PT, or like how to fuel properly, even for all the energy being expended. So just like making sure your healthcare team knows not just about your injury and your athletic goals, but also your work too.
Yes, absolutely. And once you get those recommendations, it's okay to request that of your work too. Like I've had some of my athletes that work partly from home while they're recovering, and that's been helpful. Some that have had like a cot set up in their office so they can lay down and let pressure off their back when they're, so it's okay to ask for what you need.
Again, play it again, Coach Carrie. Thank you so much, Coach Carrie, as always, for your expertise. Thanks to Laura for submitting the question. We're definitely thinking about you. And if you out there listening want to submit a question for an upcoming episode, you can email us at hello@injuredathletesclub.com, or visit our Facebook page, or join our Facebook group, which is also called the Injured Athletes Club. We also want to give a huge round of applause and lots of gratitude to Jeremy Nessel for editing the show, and a huge thank you to Lever Movement, our sponsor, for making the show possible. You'll definitely want to click through the show notes to learn more about the Lever system. Between episodes, you can join that Facebook group that I mentioned, the Injured Athletes Club. There, you'll find support and advice from other people who just get it. You'll get links to everything we mentioned in the show on our website, injuredathletesclub.com. Thanks so much, and we'll see you there.